So we go. Just put it up here. Okay, it looks like we do. You have the articles?
Yeah.
All right. Shalom.
Shalom.
First, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Makakudash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. Yeah, pretty much we're gonna go into this, this topic. All right, dealing with the Insurrection Act. Okay, and it was something that we were doing some research on. Okay, which word has come out that that's what Donald Trump, all right, is basically basically about to declare. All right, he's about to declare an executive order for something called the Insurrection Act, which we're going to go into, and basically it's the act that's really going to put the troops, all right, to on the streets, all right, the National Guard, the military, the armed military, all right, on the streets. Okay, and because we were, that question was always in there of like, why is he just talking about it? They came to the White House, you know what I'm saying? They're looting, they're rioting, they're tearing things up, but he's still just saying, oh, I'm gonna let the states handle it, and if they can't, then I'll step in, or we have all these troops and we're going to have them on standby and mobilize them. But why didn't he just, when he gave this speech here, why didn't he just come out and just straight up send the troops out? Why didn't he just straight up shut things down and declare full hardcore martial law? All right. And then you look into the act and you find out that he doesn't, as the president, he can't just come out just like that and say, boom, I'm just sending the troops in. Okay. A part of the Insurrection Act, which we're going to read, is that he has to give the forewarning. He has to come out and give this statement, which he made, all right, saying like a warning, saying, look, you rioters, you sedition, you insurgents, you need to stop and disperse and stop what you're doing. And then if sedition continues, then he can just come out straight with the executive order and send the troops to the ground. Okay, which is what. So now that he's already given this speech, this statement, all right, there's a reason the police, they're doing the bare minimum, to allow the chaos to still ensue. So now the next thing Trump can do is just straight set that executive order and send them troops to the ground. So anything you want to add?
No, let's just get right into it.
Right.
Basically, you're gonna see here that he's gonna, during the speech here, he's gonna discuss, or he's gonna actually say certain things which are very key. Okay, because you see those two things over there; those are teleprompters. So everything that he's gonna say is not off the top of his head. It's been carefully designed for him to say that.
Sure.
All right, they use certain key terms and code so you can understand. Well, by using double language, double speech, you can understand what they're saying without really having to break it down. But that's only for the elect who can do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The regular people, the regular masses, they watch this and they're like, oh, okay, he gave a speech about people coming down. If not, he's going to put out the troops. But within that speech, he used certain words, certain terms specifically that he had to use in order to fulfill that Insurrections Act, for him to be able to actually enact that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, mm-hmm. So we're going to play that. And we're going to bring out the Insurrections Act as well. We're going to bring out a few precepts and we're going to wrap it up.
That's right. That's why the scriptures say that his words were smoother than butter, yet were they drawn swords. See, they got you people. They got you like in a trick bag. You thinking he's just giving a speech, but you don't know this is a part of the plan. This speech is phase one of sending those troops to the ground. Yep. So what we'll do is let's read
it first.
Yeah, let's read it, and then we'll
play it, and then we'll break down
what he's saying and why he's saying it that way.
All right, so it says Insurrection Act of 1807. It says the Insurrection Act of 1807 is a United States federal law, 10 USC 251 to 255. It says prior to 2016. Okay, let's get to the point. It says that empowers the President of the United States to deploy U.S. military and federalize National Guard troops within the United States in particular circumstances, such as to suppress civil disorder,
mm-hmm.
insurrection,
mm-hmm.
and rebellion.
Mm-hmm. And that's why it's called the Insurrection Act. All right, and that's exactly what you're seeing going on across basically the whole 50 states. All right. Now it says it allows them to deploy the military, right?
Right.
The military isn't the National Guard. Okay, the military, the armed military, they move with tanks.
Right.
Okay, they move with guns. All right, they move in swarms. So you see the National Guard and they come with their shields and batons. The military, they come with guns and grenades and they're ready to use it. Okay.
And the U.S. military is only used during the time of war.
That's right.
So if they're bringing out the military on American soil, that means what? It's time for war.
Declaring war on the people.
Right. There you go. It says, well, military and federalized National Guard troops within the United States in particular circumstances, such as to suppress civil disorder, insurrection, and rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it says the act provides the major exception to the Posse Comitatus Act, which limits the use of military troops under federal command within the United States for law enforcement purposes. So, to summarize what the Posse Comitatus Act is basically an act that does not allow the United States to use U.S. military against U.S. citizens on U.S. soil. Okay, but there are also different things that you can do. All right, different legislations and executive orders that they can sign into power that's gonna legit take away that ability to say, oh, under Posse Comitatus you can't do this,
Mm-hmm.
and that's part of the Insurrections Act.
Right. It's like it's like a loophole almost, you know,
Right.
like a special under certain circumstances. The same way you can suspend the Constitution, you can suspend certain acts. You know, when you're in a time of war, you have to go by the laws of war.
Mhm.
You know,
Right. It says, hey, it's kind of like Esau saying, the police is going to protect you.
Mhm.
The police only protect when there's time of peace.
Mhm.
Really, protect who? But in a time of chaos, you see what's happening. What's happening? Things are happening. They call the cops. Cops from where?
they're beating up the cops.
They're beating up cops, bro. So there's no such thing. In a time of unsafety like this, the time of war, ain't no such thing as calling the cops, man.
Right.
You know.
Right.
It says, which limits the use of the military under. Okay, I read that already.
Mhm.
It says, the president must firstly issue a proclamation
Mhm.
ordering the insurgents to immediately disperse.
You hear that? And that's what Trump did over here. It says he must first. That means before this is a part of the act. All right. Before you can send the troops on the ground, you first have to come out and issue a proclamation that these insurgents need to disperse.
All right. It says, and then they immediately disperse. That's why
Mhm.
he's going to say that. It says the Insurrection Act has been invoked throughout American history. In the 19th century, it was invoked during conflicts with Native
Wait.
Americans.
Go read this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come. The purpose and content says the act empowers the U.S. president to call into service the U.S. Armed Forces
Mhm.
and the National Guard.
The U.S. Armed Forces,
Mm.
okay, and the National Guard.
Right. It says
Now, what he's about to read are the requirements, you know. So it's like it allows the president to call the U.S. Armed Forces and the National Guard if this. So we're about to read that.
first bullet says when requested by a state's legislature
Mhm.
or governor, if the legislature cannot be convened
Mhm.
to address an insurrection against that state.
Mhm.
Okay, so if let's say here in New York you have Governor Cuomo, if he was to say, "Yo, look, we need you to step in," like he was doing with the Corona thing, he said, "Yo, we need the federal government to step in and give us the funding that we need. So we need 300,000 ventilators, all this stuff." It's basically the same thing. Now Cuomo and De Blasio, they're loggerheads right
Right.
now. They're going back and forth, creating that little division there, and that's creating confusion. Now a lot of people in New York are saying they've lost the trust
Mhm.
of these higher ups. So what's going to happen now? Forget these governors. We're going straight to the feds.
Right. They can't do their job,
They can't do
basically.
their
And that's
job.
what Trump said.
Right.
We're gonna read it.
It says to address an insurrection in any state which makes it impracticable to enforce the law.
So if the insurrection is making it difficult to enforce the law, for example, when they say there's a curfew, that people are not following that, you're not allowing them to enforce that order.
No.
Okay, when they say stay at home and you're not doing it, they say this is an unlawful assembly, but yet you're there protesting and rioting. Guess what? You're not allowing them to enforce the law. Now, Trump said this, and you look at the states, and they can't do anything. Since he made this statement, things have still been getting chaotic. So guess what? That is the perfect excuse. Like we keep saying, that's the perfect excuse. Remember, he first has to give the proclamation, and if the sedition continues after that, then he can send in the troops. So he made the proclamation, and the sedition is continuing. Now, and that's why now the focus is not even protests, rioting, and looting. That's why they have agent provocateurs in there lining up bricks and setting fires, so on and so forth. Okay, because if the chaos is still going, that gives them the perfect opportunity. Order at chaos.
Right. It says what's impracticable to enforce the law. Now, how you gonna enforce the law if your law enforcement people are getting beat up? The cops who were supposed to enforce the law are getting fucked up, man. A lot of them are like, no, I'm not doing this. There was one video where this cop was trying to arrest somebody. They beat him down to the ground, picked up some shit, threw it at his head.
Yep.
You know, and then they dipped, and then he got all confused. They didn't know what he was doing. Yeah. You know, so like you got your law enforcement is looking all confused. What's gonna happen now? They're gonna ask for help.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Hey, there was one where literally there was a police officer in the street, and they just went full speed in the car and hit the dude out the way, man. Flew him somewhere. You know.
It says, or the third one, it says to address an insurrection, domestic violence, unlawful combination, or conspiracy in any state which results in the deprivation of constitutionally secured rights, and where the state is unable, fails, or refuses to protect said rights.
Now, we're going to come back to that specific statement. Now, before we go into that, because we're going to get into it, let's read 2nd Esdras, all right, the 16th chapter.
Right.
Okay? We always bring this out, but you're seeing the prophecies clearer and clearer. And listen to the wording.
God, this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 70. It says, "For there shall be in every place and..."
Wait, actually start up at 68.
68.
Yeah.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 60. It says, "For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols."
Right, so they're gonna take your asses, throw you in FEMA camps. They're gonna work you in labor. Don't think you're just gonna be chilling in a FEMA camp. No, you're gonna be working like a slave. Okay, you barely get portions food to eat. You know, they throw that slob on your plate. They say, eat it up.
It says, "And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot." All right, so that's that's happening. That's going to happen as soon as them troops come out.
Yeah.
It says they shall be like madmen sparing none. All right. As a matter of fact, we're going to get that. It says, verse 70, "For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord."
What does that say? There shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. You know what the Insurrection Act that Trump is supposed to declare? You know what that does? That allows him to put troops on the grounds in every city and every state that he deems necessary. Okay? And what are those troops going to do?
We're going to read. It says, "They shall be like madmen."
They shall be like madmen.
"Sparing none."
Nobody. No, it doesn't matter if it's your child, your wife, you. If the Lord ain't with you.
"But still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord."
And don't think, those that fear the Lord, so it's just y'all Israelites. They go, no. They're coming for everybody, because guess what? They don't see Israelites on the streets. They don't see Hebrew Israel. No. They just see niggas. All right? So they coming after you, man. And that's the thing about it. They're not going to discriminate. Ezekiel 9:5. Because what are they seeing on camera? They see white people in there. They see black people, Latino. They see all of you in there. So the people, it's not just a specific, no. The people, now predominantly is majority of the so-called Negroes. But guess what? They look at you as people, rioters, mobs.
Right. Yeah, because the people become the enemies, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It says, verse 72, "For they shall waste and take away their goods." And
now who is that day? Who's that day that's gonna do that? Like it says, the burning multitude, okay, is kindled against you. Well, let him put these troops on the grounds and you try something stupid and see what happens. This ain't gonna be it's a curfew, get inside. Oh no, fuck you, ain't getting inside. You know them videos you got dudes slapping police officers, hitting them with batons and cursing them out. Try that with them troops. Maybe you get three bullets if you're lucky in your chest.
Yeah, because I was telling my brother, I was like, when they come in this time around, it's not going to be the time of talking, because the time of talking is happening now, and you see what's happening. Cops are not being violent, and there's a reason for that. Cops are pulling up, and it's all set up. They pull up to a place where there's a whole bunch of rioting and protesting, and then they stop. Keep driving. No, they stop, and then they wait till the cars beat up and crash and all that, then they drive off. They send it up, so when the troops come in, it's justified. That look at, we try to stop them. The police were trying to be cordial with them, but they didn't listen. Look what happened.
We need force.
Exactly. Now, the only thing that we can use to quell all this is by using forceful measures. And that's why I did a video last time talking about this is all to bring about or enforce forceful mandates, man, forceful measures. Okay, so it's not going to be a time of peace and talking and let's be diplomatic. No, it's going to be a time of there's no talking. Now we're going to have to take our country back. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have to instill order. And my brother was saying it earlier that they use Trump because he comes off as a very proud man. So him talking like this, it sounds like, oh, this guy's just being proud. Listen to what he's saying. He's talking like he owns something.
Mm-hmm.
But he's
if
the
you can't
perfect
handle
man.
it, I'm gonna step
Right.
in.
Yeah, but he's the perfect guy to do that because Pence, nobody respects Pence as, oh, he got balls. He's gonna tell people,
Right.
yo, if you can't handle your states, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna take over. Obama isn't the type to do that. Obama is a soft man. He's like, oh yeah, we're gonna be nice, But Trump is the guy who's arrogant. He could just say whatever and get away with it because he's an Edomite. Okay, he's the epitome of an Edomite.
Right.
What is that? A rich white man in America. He got billions and billions and billions. He got money. He's chilling, and he's the president. So you know that they could use him as a perfect pawn to push around these different mandates that they're about to do to introduce into that new world order.
That's right. Hey, and just like in the movie The First Purge, guess what? They wanted the chaos.
Right.
And as they saw that they couldn't get it, what did they have to do? They had to provoke the chaos, just like they have agent provocateurs now. Okay? So, you know what? They're like, all right, look, send them troops in. But if the troops come in and they're shooting unarmed civilians who are just breaking windows, that kind of looks crazy. So they could come out and say, look, send mercenaries, let them dress up as regular civilians, and let them start shooting back at the troops so that we can have a reason and say, hey, look, they're shooting back. The troops need to, use lethal force to put people in order. And then the regular people get caught up in that. Same way they sent agents to start the riots and regular people got caught up in that. Esau's not stupid. He plans it all out.
Yes.
Micah 2:1. All right.
Yep. And he's done multiple experiments, years and years. Like the scriptures say, what? They do a diligent search.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So they know they've done countless amount of studies. Like going back to ancient times, they have all the technology, man. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why, I was gonna make a point, I forgot, but let's get back to this.
Get on this.
It says, verse 72, it says, for they shall waste and take away their good. Oh, there you go. They came back to the spirit. But the reason why they had to come around with this whole rioting and stuff is because we always knew that there's going to be martial law. We always knew that they're going to put the troops out there. We've been prophesying about this for years, but we didn't know that it was going to come about this way. Right after the whole COVID thing, it's going to come out through protests. Like, how is it going to happen?
Right.
They had to just kill one so-called black man, and then boom, all hell broke loose like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But it was building. And they knew the perfect time to do it because the COVID thing wasn't playing no more. Look at people going outside, rioting and protesting. Another person is thinking about being COVID, worried about COVID, man. But for the past 3 months, everybody was paranoid. You walk around somebody, they move away from you. You know what I'm saying? But now everybody's protesting. Now people are worried about their lives.
Right.
So my brother was saying it earlier that, look, as we progress into this thing, once it starts to calm down, something more is going to pick up. So right now you're going to have this protest stuff. We don't know how long it's going to go. But then next thing is going to happen is that second wave that they're talking about. You see, so right now it's like we've been talking about it, like where Habakkuk, where it says,
Sorry, wait for it.
Right. It says when it comes, it's going to keep happening, man. So right. So that's what we're looking at, man. And they use all these different chaotic scenarios to bring about the troops, because if they were to just bring out the troops on the spot, what are people going to do? They're going to fight against that. But right now they've convinced people that you need the troops to bring in order because your houses are getting looted, your cars are getting broken into, your businesses are getting messed up, your communities are getting destroyed. So we need some type of order. So then the troops are going to come in and bring that order to stop these thugs, right? But if it wasn't for these thugs, then the problem will be the troops, because we don't want you here. Why are you here? You're going to stop our way of living. So they'll fight against that. And they didn't want that. They want you to support what they're going to do. You know, that problem, reaction, solution.
All they need is support until we get it there. After we get there, to hell with what you think. We don't care. And look, let's say the riots die down. Let's say everything calms down a little bit. Guess what? Then you got famines. People are going to riot for food. If that calms down, guess what? They're going to try to vaccinate you. And you think people are just going to sit down and be okay with that? There's going to be more chaos. If you haven't noticed, each chaos that comes out is worse than before. You know, because it's climaxing. It's getting up there. Okay? That's it? Or there's more?
There's more. Let's finish at 72. It says, for they shall waste and take away their goods. So how is that going to happen? They're going to be going house to house, door to door. They're going to be commanding people, stay out of your houses or stay in your houses, one or the other. All right, if you're getting rounded up to be taken to these FEMA camps, and guess what? They're right now, what they're doing, I'm telling you, the feds, what they're doing now is they're using all these so-called these FBI agents and undercover cops, and all these surveillance cameras that's everywhere in these stores that you run in and loop. They know who you are. If you're not wearing a mask, they already know. They say, all right, right now we've told people to wear masks. People are running around not wearing masks. We see your face. We know we're going to track you down. We know that you're one of those who are going to rebel. So
contact
we're going to put you on the
tracing.
spot. Exactly.
These dumbasses on social media supporting this and all that. Guess what? You're going to be guilty as well.
Yes.
You're guilty of promoting that violence and insurrection.
Yep.
And they're gonna come after you as well. You're gonna be put on a list. Okay. You see, you got people talking about if you're not speaking up, you're not before the cause. Your dumbass is making yourself a target.
Yes.
When the troops come out, keep the same energy.
Yeah. But back to the point, they're setting it up now, and they're tracking everybody. So depending on what people are doing now, they're watching you. They're watching you. Don't get it twisted thinking it's all chaotic. They're not paying attention. They're watching. They know who's causing all this stuff. Esau's not stupid. So all these things that's happening, once they bring out those troops, they know exactly whose houses they're going into, who's on the red list, because they have a rebellious spirit. First we said wear a mask, you didn't wear a mask, so you're a rebellious spirit, so we can't have you hanging around. You're going to cause some shit. Okay, who was going out there riding? Who was robbing cops' horses? Who was doing all these things, beating up cops? They know it's on video. You see what I'm saying? So people are not going to hide. So you got people on the red list, you got people on the yellow list, the blue list, all that, man. And when they come into your houses, it says what?
That's right.
For they shall waste and take away their goods. So your food, your weapons. That's the first thing they're gonna come and do. It's gonna be like a couple of times they're gonna run into people's houses, man. These suburban areas, these apartment buildings, all that. They're gonna go in there, search, knock at doors. If you have food stashed up, you got canned goods and everything, my man, pass that. Why? Because they want to make sure.
Confiscating it.
There you go. So they consolidate everything. So it's going to be the state that has the power over the food.
Provider, yeah.
So if you got some type of independent house living style, I could grow some crops in my background. No, that's not happening, because you can support yourself.
It's ours now. The FEMA executive orders, they're gonna own it. Whatever you own, they own it. They own you as well. Yeah.
Your ships. You got a boat. You want to escape on the Atlantic or ocean? Nope, you're not doing
we
that.
own the waters and we own your boat.
Everything.
We own. Matter of fact, we own you as well. Come
That's
with
it.
us.
That's it. It says what? Take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. So how's that gonna happen? They run into your cribs. They blow a couple of shots. They grab you up and then they tie you down and then they put you. That's it.
Hide your wives, hide your kids.
And they show you that in the trailer, Gray State.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They had people lined up right in front of their house and
shooting them, in the head.
Yep. And that's what's gonna happen. It says, verse 73. Then shall they be known who are my chosen.
Because guess what? When they gonna come in like a flood.
Right.
When he sends them troops in, they gonna come in like a flood, rushing into houses in the hallways and all that. Guess what? At that time, the Lord is gonna do something to deliver His elect.
Right.
Okay. Right. And He's gonna do. Hey, look. Let me think about this, man. They could come into your hallway, right? They could come onto your floor, run up, and by the time they get, maybe there's a door here, door here. Before they get to your door, it's just a wall. Right. They can't find the door. They don't even know that there's a door over there. So they just keep on going, round everybody up, and they think they got everybody. And here it is, you in your crib. You waiting because you think they're about to come in, not knowing the Lord has done it to where there's no door. It's just a wall. So they don't even know you there.
Right. Hey, the Lord could do that.
Lord could do that.
You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be like we always say, it's not gonna be a pretty thing. They have National Guard, they have the troops out there who are all MK ultra'd up, and then you're gonna have the UN troops, because this thing is global. My brother showed me a video. Was it what country was it? New Zealand.
Yeah, and London too.
In London. Yeah. They got George. This George dude died over here in Minnesota, bro. You got states rioting, and you got other countries. What are you protesting over there? Because it's a spirit that's on the earth right now. Yeah. It's the Lord putting the spirit upon the earth to do this. You see? So it makes sense why it's like, yo, you don't even know this George guy. You don't even know how racism is in America. You live in New Zealand. What the hell is, what problem, what are you protesting over there? New Zealand is like, nobody hears about New Zealand. Like, oh, New Zealand, they got, Jake over there is probably chilling. Like, they live in like,
it's mainly the land of Babylon,
man. You know what I'm saying? So like for them to start rioting too and going crazy, it's just a spirit that's on the earth. And for them to bring peace, it's going to have to be the UN, because what the UN is for the United Nations, so they could bring peace and not war. But they always do the opposite. But now they're going to bring those troops, the UN troops,
blue hats, blue helmets,
guys, and come in there, and they're going to have to bring that order around the whole world. Okay? But it says what? Then shall it be known, it says, then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. So right now it's a trial process, man. We're going through it. We've been through it. Right. You know what I'm saying? And it was a spiritual thing. But now the physical is going to be like, you know what? The Lord says you're worthy enough to have that spiritual power and do that thing. All right. So we at that time, man. But,
all right. So we're going to get into the video. All right. And we're going to play it. Right. And just now that you know, just listen to what he's saying. And we're going to break it down and show you why he's saying things like that. All right. Let me turn this up.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Look at this guy. He said, "What? Let me get full screen."
Thank you very much. My fellow Americans, my first and highest duty as president is to defend our great country and the American people. I swore an oath.
If you can see, like the brother was saying, you see that? He looks here, then he looks here. Because he's looking at he's reading it. Yeah, he's reading it.
To uphold
he can't just speak off the top. He can't just be like, "Oh, guys, say we're here." No, he has to read those things on the sides.
Yeah.
There's a teleprompter then, and it's specifically written a certain way to put in certain words, how you say it, when to say it, what time to pause, what time to take a deep breath, what time to look to the left. They train you with all these things, man. You know. But go ahead.
Laws of our nation, and that is exactly what I will do. All Americans were rightly sickened and revolted by the brutal death of George Floyd. My administration is fully committed that for George and his family, justice will be served. He will not have died in vain.
Yes. Why would he say he will not have died in vain? Because his death was the ushering in of our chance to bring in the troops. Okay, it wasn't like it's not just going to be, oh, another black man died and then that's it, we're just going to keep protesting. Nope. It was the starting point of everything that's happening. So it wasn't in vain. It was a good start. It was a good sacrifice to usher in that Orwellian nightmare.
Never let a good crisis go to waste.
There you go. There you go.
Right. But we cannot allow the righteous cries and peaceful protesters to be drowned out by an angry mob. The biggest victims of the rioting are peace-loving citizens in our poorest communities. And as their president, I will fight to keep them safe.
See, now he's catering to those people who actually have that faith in America. Okay, those people who actually they've lost something in this whole chaotic shit. He's catering to them. He's letting them know, like, yo, just trust me, man, because that's the majority of America. Everybody got jobs. There's not that many people. The 1%, they don't really worry about this because they're covered. All this stuff, they already planned it out. They already knew this was going to happen. So a lot of them bought stocks. They were into that whole stock stuff. So they got even richer from time of Corona till now. A lot of them have insurance and everything. So right now, the insurance money is boosting right now. All right. Oh, I knew that this is going to happen. Boom. Let me get insurance because now they're about to mess up my shit. You know, Gucci, all these big stores, they're good, man. It's just the regular Jake who's out there, the regular Edomite who's out there, who he's talking to right now. He's catering to them like, look, I'm going to have to help you out. You just got to trust me, man. You know, believe me when I say what I'm saying. All right. You know, right?
I will fight to protect you. I am your president of law and order.
He's a president of law and order, okay, which is something we read in the Insurrection Act. Okay, where's it at?
Right in the beginning, right?
Yeah. It says, then just play out
the article, yeah.
And an ally of all peaceful protesters. But in recent days, our nation has been gripped by professional anarchists, violent mobs, arsonists, looters, criminals, rioters, Antifa, and others.
Right. Now, when you look up, okay, when you look up, let's look up the word insurrection. Okay, and look, what we're gonna do is we're gonna look up some synonyms, right? In synonyms: rebellion, revolt, uprising, mutiny, insurgents, rioting. You understand that? So when he's calling these people rioters and mobs and looters, he's calling them insurrectionists, if that's a word, okay, or insurgents, right? Okay, that's basically what he's calling them. And once you can deem them as insurgents, then guess what? That insurrection act it becomes more and more valid, okay, because you're using it in the right cause. I'm gonna play it back. It also says here: rioting, riots, sedition, civil disobedience. What does it say? There shall be sedition among men. Okay, civil disobedience, anarchy.
Professional anarchists.
Oh boy, I'm gonna play that back.
Investors. But in recent days, our nation has been gripped by professional anarchists.
Boom, professional anarchists, as we just read.
Violent mobs, arsonists, looters, criminals, rioters, Antifa, and others.
Antifa. They call Antifa a domestic terrorist group, right? So if they're a domestic terrorist group and you know about them, why didn't you stop them all these years? Why do you allow them to stay in these streets? If they're domestic terrorists and look what they're doing, what is the justice behind it? They should be rounded up and arrested a long time ago. But they're not going to do that because they want to ultimately equate us to Antifa, the Israelites, the men on the streets. And there's not no black Hebrew. It's not none of that black Hebrew Israelites. There's no such thing as Hebrew Israelites. Even in the scriptures, there's not one time you see black Hebrew Israelites. There's only Israelites or the children of Israel or the Hebrews. That's all you see.
Right.
You know, the whole Hebrew Israelite, that's just, it's been so tainted because of how you got wicked people who are in this thing who push that vibration, like all these different camps are all black and all that, you know, pushing that negative vibration. And Esau is using that as a means to equate us to this whole negative, violent vibe, man. Because right now it's all about the black lives matter, black this. We're not about black. We don't promote black. We don't stand for black. Okay, so don't come around us with that whole black stuff. Oh, you black, be proud to be black. We're black, stand, da da da. You know, we're Israelites. An Israelite, you have all types of different Israelites. You have an Israelite who looks like an Edomite. You have an Israelite who looks like a Moabite, a Chinese man. You have Israelites who look all kinds of shapes, all kinds of different colors, shapes, sizes, colors, all that. You know, varieties, man. Because the Most High is about that. He's not boring. He has different. It's called a balance. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that whole black thing is just a way of Esau to categorize you and dehumanize you. And once they put that dehumanization factor in there, people don't look at you as a human anymore. So it's easier for them to agree with what they're going to do to you. Oh, these people are crazy. These thugs, da da da. Let's attack them. Let's beat them up. Let's kill them. It's easy for them to say that. But if they're, they're closer to you, then it's like, nah, you can't do that. That's another human being, bro. You can't kill that. You can't kill that man. You know, so they have to first dehumanize you. That's why he's using all these words, these rioters, these protests, these wicked anarchists. All that's dangerous words to your mind. Like, nah, we got to stop them. You know, when you hear words like that, you're not thinking of peaceful protesting. You're not thinking of people fighting for their own nation. No, you're thinking of wicked people who are out there, savages that need to be stopped. So that's why they're using those words, man, to incite that spirit within the people, man. Right. You know. Right?
Number of state and local governments have failed to take necessary action. Arsonists, looters, criminals, rioters, Antifa, and others. A number of state and local governments have failed to take necessary action to safeguard their residents.
Right. The third bullet in the Insurrection Act, it says
you could start it from the point where it says
where it stay up. Yeah, it says
so what the brother's about to read is the president can declare the Insurrection Act if in a situation where
the state is unable, fails, or refuses to protect said rights.
Unable, fails, or refuses to protect said rights.
Now, the said rights is talking about the constitutionally secured rights.
Right.
So people's ability to have their houses, the freedom of speech, all these different so-called rights that are being suppressed now, if the states are not able to stop these riots so people could do their own regular things, then the President Trump could come in and say, look, you didn't do your job. Now I'm going to do it for you. All right?
We're going to play it.
A number of state and local governments have failed to take necessary action to safeguard their residents.
So, pause real quick. So in the article, it says what? They fail, like the brother said, fail. And he's using the same word, fail, because he has to say that. He literally has to say those words. You know what I'm saying? So it can fall in line with what he's going to do.
Right.
Just in case any lawyer comes and said, hey, that's unconstitutional. You say, well, this is what we said. And this is what we did.
Yep. Did the states not fail to protect the citizens' rights? Did they not fail? Or were they not unable? Or did they not refuse to deploy their National Guards to protect the interests of the American people?
Right.
See?
Right.
Innocent people have been savagely beaten, like the young man in Dallas, Texas, who was left dying on the street, or the woman in upstate New York.
You see that this right there, what happens is that it's to incite anger. You know what I'm saying? Are you saying the young man that died in Dallas or the woman that died in upstate? Who?
What were they doing? Why would they beat?
Right. You have to give identity so people know who you're talking about. But if you just say things like that, it makes it seem like, damn, they killed another man. Damn, they killed a woman. Oh, what happened? Oh, yeah. Do what you got to do. You see, they use these terms like, yo, you listen. If you're talking about people you got to give names. First, you said George Floyd, and what's the reaction whenever you hear George Floyd? Nah, that was messed up. That was murder. That cop needs to be put in jail. You know, they incite that anger, and then he brings it with the other. Why don't you mention the other people's names? You said George Floyd. You might as well just mention the other victims' names. Why don't you do that? Because the George Floyd is the name, the face of that protesting that we have now. That was the beginning. That's why I said he didn't die in vain. That was the gas that sparked the fire. But now that the fire is sparked, they just got to put a few more branches in there, a few more leaves, and that's what he's just doing.
Yeah, because if you notice, the media likes to do that a lot. When when it comes in a situation where like Eric Garner or somebody like that who gets murdered by the police, they always bring out information on, oh, he was into this, he was doing drugs, he had cigarettes on him. So they won't just say a man was murdered by police in a chokehold. They'll say he was caught for selling cigarettes, and then there was an altercation and he happened to die.
Yeah.
You see? So when they can add a negative effect in there by identifying who the person was, then it's okay. But when it comes to somebody like this, who's a so-called white man who got beat up because he was holding a sword, trying to come after people, you're not gonna say, oh, there was a so-called white man with a sword trying to come after people that got beat up. You're gonna say a man who was left bloodied in the street, left to die. You see? You don't know who the man is, you don't know what he did, you just know what happened to him. So you're like, damn, why would they do that to a man?
That's the whole point.
Viciously attacked by dangerous thugs.
You hear that?
Mobs, arsons, their residents. Innocent people have been savagely beaten, like the young man in Dallas, Texas, who was left dying on the street, or the woman in upstate New York, viciously attacked by dangerous thugs.
Wait, what they did to George Floyd? That wasn't vicious? What about the other videos that are surfacing as to what these police are doing to these people? There was a video of a police who hit a woman in the face with a baton and she bleeding all up in her face and everything. Was that not vicious?
Right. There's mad countless videos of vicious activities. Why are you not mentioning all of them?
Yeah.
You pick and choose which one you want to pick. And you notice they put a man and a woman. Mm-hmm. That's what you just said. So it's bringing out that pissed off vibe of like, they touch a man. Women are gonna get pissed. Men are gonna get pissed. They touch a woman too. Oh man, you know what I'm saying? They have to bring the
duality.
Duality. There you go. The gender duality there. You know, Baphomet.
Yep.
Small business owners have seen their dreams utterly destroyed. New York's finest have been hit in the face with bricks. Brave nurses who have battled the virus are afraid to leave their homes. A police precinct has been overrun. Here in the nation's capital, the Lincoln Memorial and the World War II Memorial have been vandalized. One of our most historic churches was set ablaze. A federal officer in California, an African-American enforcement hero, was shot and killed. These are not acts of peaceful protest. These are acts of domestic terror. The destruction of innocent life and the spilling of...
So now the new thing they're going to start pushing more is domestic terrorism. That's going to be the key thing. These people are domestic terrorists. You got to stop them. We have to stop them. And they're going to equate us to it because they've already put us on the list as domestic terrorism with the
Project Megiddo,
Rex 84, and then the other Southern
Poverty Law Center.
Yeah, they already got us on the list. You know what I'm saying? And all we did was bring out this truth and bring out this word. Mm-hmm. See how powerful words are, man? Words are literally, they cut. Hey, Hebrews 4:12 tells you that. Words are powerful, they cut. And that's why when you take the word words, you take the S from the end and you put it in the front, it becomes sword, man. You know, they cut. And that's what Esau is dying about. That's why he's going to name us what? Terrorists. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Did we go out there and protest? Did we go out there and throw things and
we were advising people not to.
Exactly. But they're going to say, nah, because what? This word is terrorizing them. Mm-hmm. You know? They're scared. It's terror. It brings fear into their hearts. Right?
Of innocent blood is an offense to humanity and a crime against God.
If that's the case, then all you Edomites are done. You're through. You just condemned yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And
he came out with a Bible. He came out with a Bible, the same Bible that says if you lead somebody into captivity, you should be led. You're gonna be led in captivity. If you kill somebody with the sword, you're gonna be killed with the sword. Mm-hmm. So you just condemned yourself because your whole history, all right, says everything you're condemning.
Right. Condemning you the bloodshed, man. Right. Innocent blood.
America needs creation, not destruction. Cooperation, not contempt. Security, not anarchy. Healing, not hatred. Justice, not chaos. This is our mission, and we will succeed. 100%, we will succeed. Our country always wins. That is why I am taking immediate presidential action to stop the violence and restore security and safety in America. I am mobilizing all available federal resources, civilian and military, to stop the rioting and looting
But if you notice what he said what? He is mobilizing the military, right? Now, when you look up the word mobilize, all right, that's why you got to look up your words. Mobilization says the action of a country or its government preparing and organizing troops for active service. Okay? The action of making something movable or capable of movement. He hasn't deployed, the army hasn't really been deployed yet. They've been mobilized, meaning they've been put on ready, all right, that in case there's time to go, hey, go here, go here, go here, set this up. You've seen, National Guard and, people with shields and stuff here and there, but you're not really seeing that army putting people down because they haven't been sent out yet. He can't send them out until he gives this speech which he just made, according to the act that he's supposed to declare. All right.
To end the destruction and arson and to protect the rights of law-abiding Americans, including your Second Amendment rights. Therefore, the following measures are going into effect immediately. First, we are ending the riots and lawlessness that has spread throughout our country. We will end it now. Today, I have strongly recommended to every governor to deploy the National Guard in sufficient numbers that we dominate the streets. Mayors and governors must establish an overwhelming law enforcement presence until the violence has been quelled. If a city or state refuses to take the actions that are necessary to defend the life and property of their residents, then I will deploy the United States military and quickly solve the problem for them.
Boom. Literally that part he just said is what is the precursor to sending the troops in the streets.
Let's read that. It says to address an insurrection, domestic violence, unlawful combination of conspiracy in any state. Antifa is a unlawful combination or conspiracy because it's anti-fascism.
Right.
It's a conspiracy that there is a fascist government, and we're against it. Anti-fascism. That's it. All right. It says in any state. All right. That means from New York to Cali. It says any state which results in the deprivation of constitutionally secured rights. He said the life and property. That's constitutionally secured rights, right? Okay. And where the state is unable, fails, or refuses to protect said rights.
Now we're gonna listen to what he said. Why did he use specifically words refuse? And then in the beginning he uses the states fail.
Or
unable to.
City or state refuses to
let's listen.
Deploy the National Guard in sufficient numbers that we dominate the streets.
So just so you get it, for him to do this, he has to come out and tell the rioters or insurgents to disperse, stop your rioting. And then that gives him the power to deploy the armed military and the National Guard if, like we read, the states refuse or they fail or they're unable to protect the rights of their citizens. So let's listen.
Mayors and governors must establish an overwhelming law enforcement presence until the violence has been quelled. If a city or state refuses to take the actions that are necessary to defend the life and property of their residents, then I will deploy the United States military and quickly solve the problem for them.
So you're thinking, oh, he's just saying that because that's how Trump talks. He's very proud. He's saying that because he has to say that. When you read it, it says, the act empowers the U.S. president to call into service the U.S. Armed Forces, which he just said, and National Guard, if and where the state is unable, fails, or refuses to protect said rights. That's what he just said.
Right. Okay,
letting you know, look, man, you can't come at me and say, well, you can't just send in the troops like that. Posse comitatus. Well, boy, this is Insurrection Act, baby. All right. I gave the speech.
I am also taking swift and decisive action to protect our great capital, Washington, D.C. What happened in this city last night was a total disgrace. As we speak, I am dispatching thousands and thousands of heavily armed soldiers, military personnel, and law enforcement officers to stop the rioting, looting, vandalism, assaults, and the wanton destruction of property. we are putting everybody on warning. Our 7 o'clock curfew will be strictly enforced. Those who threaten innocent life and property will be arrested, detained, and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Now, really think about it, right? They're going to be arrested and detained. You think these prisons can hold all these people if they try to arrest and detain them? No. They need a new way of detaining people, you know, for all this chaos that they're doing. That's why the troops are here, and that's why the FEMA camps are set up. Rex 84 tells you they have literally set up military bases for FEMA camps, Walmarts, all these different places. They're ready. All that's left is the people.
That's it.
So if we have an excuse, a perfect excuse at that, to round people up, to throw them in there, the police can't do it. So we need people, once we put the fear in them through the military, because you know what the police are taught? They're taught when you come on the scene, establish dominance immediately. Okay, that's why when the police come on the scene, they're always like, freeze, they're so aggressive, because they have to let the people know, look, we're the dominant force here, so you listen to us. If they can't establish that within the first few seconds that they get there, their mission is failed. So that's what the military is going to do when they get here. If they have to shoot people, whatever they have to do, they're going to do it. So when you look at the military, your first impression is, nah, I'm not trying to rebel against them because they'll actually kill me. When they get that control from your fear, then they say, look, we round your ass up. You ain't what you gonna do?
And the law only applies to those who are alive. So if they shoot you down, you're not going to be persecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Only those who are going to comply and then be taken away. Those are the ones
like we read.
That's it.
They that consent of them shall be trodden on the foot.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? So if you consent and the Lord is not with you, hey, that's bye-bye for you.
Bye-bye, baby. Bye-bye, baby.
I want the organizers of this terror to be on notice that you will face severe criminal penalties and lengthy sentences in jail.
How do they know that? All these people are going crazy. How are you going to arrest every single one of them? Like I said earlier, they're tracking everyone. Your phones are on. All right, you posting on social media. They got all your information. They got FBI agents who create all these meme pages, and if you like them, they already got your page covered up. All right, this man right here agrees with this type of shit. We know what he's doing. We know what she's doing. You know, you're pushing all this Black Lives stuff. You know, some of these Black Lives stuff that they be putting out there, like yesterday, for example, so-called Blackout Tuesday. You know what happened? It wasn't organic. It was something that the FBI agents started. You know, they create these meme pages, and then people be thinking, oh, this is so funny. Oh, double tap, and then they start to make your mind think that that's reality, man. They use the media, the social media platforms, the mainstream media platforms as a means to what? To condition people, man. All right. There's something called priming. There's something called forming. I believe that's the word. All right. And then they basically shape your mindset of what they shape your perception of reality. All right. So now you got people out here like everyone thinks they're important now. Everybody, Black Lives Matter. I'm Black. Represent Black lives. Or you got white people saying, I understand that I will never understand, but I still stand. Like all this corny shit. I'm like, man, America about to get destroyed. You out here talking about Black lives, man. You know what I'm saying? But hey,
Mosai ain't dealing with Black lives, man. He's dealing with his elect. All right.
That's it.
This includes Antifa and others who are leading instigators of this violence.
Boom. Grandmaster Jay came out and said, my Hebrew brothers, join us in this protest shit. They already included us
my
in that
Egyptologists, my Hebrew brothers, the elect, the righteous. Why do you think the fact that he said that, that's it. All they need is for one person who's inciting. What did Grandmaster Jay say? We gonna go up in there. Why need you strapped, booted, and ready to bust? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's promoting violence. Right. He's promoting insurrection. And then he's tagging. Like on Instagram, you could tag somebody. What he's doing is he's tagging you by mentioning you. Right. I see my Hebrew Israel, my Black Hebrew Israelite brothers, my Egyptology brothers. I see all of y'all. We one and the same. So if they get him, guess what? They say, wait, he said y'all one and the same. So we got to get you two. You see? So when they come out and they say, and others, like Trump just said, that's vague talk. Because if we can make the umbrella big and subjective, when we come after you and you say, why are you coming after us for? Well, we told you we were going to come after you. You didn't say you were going to come after us. We said others. We classify you as others. So technically we did. You see? Esau knows what he's doing, man. But it's okay. We're waiting for you to come. Just like Yahushua was waiting with his disciples. He told them the hour is now. They're going to come for me right now. Guess what? We waiting for you to come. Only difference is you ain't taking us and crucifying us. Because the Lord said when you come in, he's going to lift up that standard. You could grab up the 2/3. You could grab up the other nations, but you ain't going to touch the Lord's elect.
Not.
We gonna tell you that.
So,
All right.
One law and order, and that is what it is. One law. We have one beautiful law.
what does
Like
that
one
mean?
world religion.
That's it.
One
They'll
world
push it.
order. One up.
There you go.
And once that is restored
Isn't there a saying like, out of many we are one?
Yes.
You know.
and fully restored, we will help you, we will help your business, and we will help your family.
He's bringing around what? False hope. All right, false hope to America. He's not giving you that idea that America is on its last legs. He's giving you the idea of hope.
Mhm.
Come on, keep the faith. Believe in what we're saying. The only way we're going to be able to come out of this crisis is if we all come together as one.
Mm-hmm.
You take that chip. You see, this is what's leading to, man. All this chaotic shit is all leading to that chip, man. Because now they're going to say we chipping everybody. We know who has a vaccine, who doesn't. We know who's out here causing all these problems. We're going to do this to protect you. If you want your business to get that loan so you can come back into business, take that chip.
Mm-hmm.
We need to know who's having these businesses. We need to identify who's doing these things.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about identity at the end of the day. Because all this chaos that's happening, how are we going to know who's who?
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to arrest the righteous, the wicked from the righteous?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? How are we going to separate? So we're going to have to do something, which is that chip.
And if you think about it too, why do you think they're allowing people to tear down businesses, destroy stores, mess up the streets? Because that's just deconstruct the infrastructure. We'll rebuild it with 5G technology and with onto chip standards, basically. You know, yeah, right. Go ahead, yo. We'll give you the materials you need. Destroy the stores, because the stores right now they go by the old way. When we rebuild them, it's gonna be, yo, this Target look different. You know, wait, when did Target have a chipping station? You know, when did Target have cameras in there and facial recognition and troops and all these? You know what I'm saying? When did they have barricades? That's the new. After we've rebuilt it, we've put it in a way where now we can avoid something like this happening again.
And then the Lord gonna come with that destruction.
You're gonna come with
That's it. Because they're not gonna get that new world order, man. It's called phantom, which is what fantasy reality. Like you just dreaming shit.
Yeah, the heathen imagine a vain thing.
America is founded upon the rule of law.
No, it's founded upon slavery, rape, rob, and murder. You see, he's lying straight through his teeth.
It is the foundation of our prosperity, our freedom, and our very way of life. But where there is no law, there is no opportunity. Where there is no justice, there is no liberty. Where there is no safety, there is no future. We must never give in to anger or hatred. If malice or violence reigns, then none of us is free. I take these actions today with firm resolve and with a true and passionate love for our country. By far, our greatest days lie ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. And now I'm going to pay my respects to a very, very special place. Thank you very much.
Really? He answered no questions. They tried asking, he answered no questions. He's done the first part. All right. So now you know what comes next. Okay. Let the riots go on. Let her look. At the end of the day, regardless of how it plays out, there will be martial law, full hardcore martial law. A lot of people will die. All right. That is the prophecy, man. There will be famines, starvation, chaos, hell like never before. As a matter of fact, we could finish it off with Daniel 12. All right.
Get that. Yeah, this is the times that we're in, man. And we prophesied about this for years. But now it's happening. Everybody's looking at it now. People are like, yo, man, this, nobody dreamt about this, man. America, because when we were saying it, it didn't seem like a real thing. It's like, why even, it's vain to them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, bro, you wasting your time, bro. America, like, everything was peaceful. But now it just like that. Within a few days, just like that, the Most High switched up everything. Now people are like, yo, this is crazy. Oh, we told you. The scriptures told you. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 12, verse 1. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, which are the Israelites. All right, you got people who are actually waking up and saying that, yeah, you are the children of the Most High. Right? Charlemagne said that. Charlemagne the God, he said that on ESPN First Take. He said that. One of the elders posted it. And also this cop, you know, he looked like an Edomite. He might be Jake, who knows? But I just say a so-called white cop came out and said, look, this is the same thing that happened during the time of Egypt, man. They were persecuting the children of the Lord. They're killing the men, the male-born sons, and now they're doing the same thing, killing off the men. if you notice, the police brutality doesn't really happen to women of our nation
as much as the men. Yeah.
as much as the men. Because if you notice, the women are really getting benefits from the government, and they're talking shit against the men. But now they're taking everything away. All right. It says what? The great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time.
So that's what we're coming to.
That's it. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. Now, it says, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. Now, America has never gone through some shit like this before. All right, so even that alone is a fulfillment of prophecy.
Right.
There's a lot of things that's happening that we thought about as, yo, imagine this, but then the Lord is gonna make it so simple. You're gonna be like, oh shit, that's what? Oh damn, that's the prophecy. Wow. The scriptures say what? Our salvation is nearer than which we believed. So some of the things that we think about, the Most High is making the picture clearer and clearer by the day.
Right.
All right. So America right now, you got all 50 states rioting. When has that ever happened in this country? Ever? It's never happened. This is the first time it's happening. All right. You got protests that's happening around the world about brutality on Jake. When has that ever happened, man? Different countries, like I'm talking about a whole world shut down because of a freaking made-up virus, man. When has that ever happened, man? You know what I'm saying? So these are things that's happening in the world, and soon the heavens going to declare certain things that's going to be like, damn, this has never been seen before. This is a lot of like, damn, never in history, first time in history. You know, that kind of
chariots. You're gonna see, hey, the Lord's just going right now. The Lord is turning up the carnal things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's turning up the rumors of wars. He's turning up the virus. He's turning up the insurrection. Then he's going to toss in the supernatural. Demons, angels, chariots, you know, spiritual power. Yo, people, man, y'all going to believe at the end of this, man. You're going to see things you've never seen before, man. Okay? That seeing is believing, man. You want to see the belief? Cool. Lord going to show you, man. He's going to show you. But as I said, that people, those that are written in the book, and that's the elect, man. Okay, so hey, ultimately that's what this is about. Okay, that's why we do these videos. That's why we're out here and we're constantly waking our people up. Is to wake our people up and to build up their faith for the times we're coming in, man. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, pretty much touched on what we had to, touch on. Okay, and Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. Hey, man, we in those times, man. Okay, so remain in the spirit. All right, keep Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai in your heart and your mind. All right, and hey, man, pray for fewer days, man. Okay, pray for protection and just stay in the spirit. All right, so with that, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai B'Hashem Makakudash. Until next time, Shalom.